Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of DLBTV, and in this episode, we're laying it all on the table. The PS3, 360, Nintendo Wii. How did everybody do for the year 2010? Well, stay tuned. That's what we're going to discuss next.
You guys are tuned into DLBTV.
So, this is actually the first time in a long time that I've actually freestyled on DLBTV. And I don't mean rapping. I mean I have no itinerary, no nothing to go off of. So all this stuff is coming off the top of my head. So if I forget anything, forgive me now. But let's go ahead and get it in. So, 2010. I think this is the first year in a long time that the first half of the year, as far as games go, was better than the second half of the year. I mean, you had Heavy Rain for the PlayStation 3, you had Mass Effect for the Xbox 360, you had God of War for the PlayStation 3, you had the game by Rockstar, Red Dead Redemption, which was a really big game earlier this year. A lot of the big titles came out the beginning of this year. Now that we're in the fall of 2010, there's really nothing there right now. I mean, there's a few games. I mean, there is the one and only Call of Duty, one of the best-selling games of all time, Call of Duty Black Ops, that is. We had Halo that also released this fall as well. Gran Turismo released. So, I mean, there were its fair share of big titles that released this fall, but there was nowhere near the amount of games that released at the beginning of the year. So, and it looks like it's actually going to be the same thing continuing into 2011, because a lot of games that got pushed back to spring 2011, which is the beginning of the year. Now, we could see a lot of games follow suit like Gears of War did and fall back towards the end of the year, which I kind of knew that Gears of War wasn't going to release in the beginning of the year. I didn't see that. Number one, Microsoft has their say-so in it. So, I mean, end of the year, yeah. So, I didn't even get my hopes up about that when they said that. But other than Gears, though, there are a lot of games that are going to be releasing the beginning of 2011, spring 2011, so to speak. So, as far as games go, there's that. Now, let's go ahead and get to these consoles. Everybody has done something a little different this year. We've seen a lot of new things from all the competitors this year. Not only games, excuse me, but we've seen new peripherals hit the market. We've seen new consoles hit the market. So E3 this year, Microsoft unveiled the new Xbox 360, the new black one, which I must say is a very nice looking console. And if you happen to be one of the lucky few that was actually in the conference, you actually got a free one. So, yeah, I know there's a lot of happy people out there. One thing that I do like about the new console is that it's really, finally, it's really quiet. It's actually quieter than my PS3, but that's because I still have a launch PlayStation 3, and it's been through its battles. Not me dropping it or anything like that, but I mean, it's almost everybody I know that had a launch PlayStation 3 is either loud like mine or it's yellow light, and they had to get another console. So it's really light. I like, one of the other pluses is the fact that with the Kinect, if you bought the Kinect, if you don't have the new Xbox Kinect console, we'll call it that. If you don't have the new Xbox Kinect console, then when you buy the Kinect, it comes with another outlet that you have to plug into the wall, which is where this one, that's not the case. It plugs into the back of the Xbox 360, and the Xbox 360 actually powers itself and the Kinect. So I think that's one of the benefits of the new Xbox 360, among other things as well. We saw the PlayStation 3 introduce the PlayStation Move. We saw Microsoft introduce the Kinect, and both of those are selling real well right now. A perfect example is I went to go try and actually buy a PlayStation Move yesterday, and I could not find it anywhere. I went to Best Buy, Toys R Us, GameStop, and Walmart. Now, I did happen to ask one of the guys at GameStop. I was like, well, is it because you guys are getting short supply, or is the demand really that high? Now, this is according to a gentleman at GameStop, and this is just one GameStop. But he said that they just haven't been getting that many in. It's not that people have been rushing in to buy them. It's just that they haven't been getting that many. Now, keep in mind, this was just one GameStop in my city. That may not be the case for all the GameStops across the world or across the U.S. So just that particular guy, that particular GameStop, who knows, he could have been a PlayStation hater or not, but I don't know why he would lie about something like that. But be that as it may, he stated that they just don't get that many shipments in. He said they get about, I think he said that they get about one shipment for every 2 weeks. So that's basically 2 shipments in a month. And he said they only get 12 in each shipment. Excuse me. Keep in mind, this is just the Move controller, because I have everything else. I have the camera. I have a PlayStation 3. I don't need a game. I don't need another PlayStation Eye. I just need the Move. So don't get me wrong, I could find the bundles in stores, but I don't need the bundles. I just need the Move controller itself. There was a ton of sub-controllers. I could find a ton of those, but I could not find the Move controller itself. So take that as a however you choose to take it. But so the PlayStation Move is doing well. The Kinect, though, when I was at Best Buy, I did see a lot more people playing and gathering around the Kinect than they were the PlayStation 3. Now my thing is, I really don't. I don't know, because I could sit here and say, well, this isn't new technology, or not new technology, this isn't anything new, because Sony was doing it with the iToy on the PS2. But then we could say the same thing about the Move. The Move is nothing new, because the Wii is already doing it this generation. One thing I will say, though, is I think that Sony was smarter kind of going the same route as the Nintendo Wii than like Microsoft and going like a whole nother route. And the reason I say that is because if a game is made for the PlayStation Move first, it can be ported to the Wii and vice versa. Now there are other differences, of course, with depth and stuff like that. The PlayStation Move technology is way more advanced than the Nintendo Wii technology as far as their wand controllers work. But be that as it may, it still is easy to port games to either system. So I think that was smart on Sony's part, because now you don't have developers that have to, once again, develop for a whole nother console. Because that's what Microsoft is considering the Kinect, a whole nother console. Whereas we already have these developers developing on, I believe, enough consoles. You got handhelds, you got mobile phones, you got PlayStation 3, Xbox, Nintendo Wii, the PS2 is still there. So we'll see what happens. But we have been seeing a lot more advertisement behind the Kinect than we have the PlayStation Move. So, and we all know that's Microsoft. Microsoft is going to pump those advertisements until you can't take it anymore. And I honestly think that that's a smart move. Now, going on to the PlayStation Store, one thing I will say is that the PlayStation Eye still can be used as a Kinect. I mean, like I said before, Sony's been doing this since the PlayStation 2. Earlier in the PlayStation 3's life cycle, a lot of you guys over in Europe may remember there were a lot of games being released in the PlayStation Store where you were actually able to use your body to play certain games. Now, there is a game that's called Kung Fu Live, and it looks amazing and it looks really fun. I haven't purchased it yet, but from watching the trailer and some of the research I've done on the game online, this definitely is a game that I am looking forward to checking out. It's just like the Kinect, where you don't need a PlayStation Move controller, it's just your body. So if you guys haven't heard of it, make sure you take a look at it. It's called Kung Fu Live. It's $14.99, and it's only available in the PlayStation Network, or in the PlayStation Store on the PlayStation Network. Now, speaking of the PlayStation Network, Sony announced PlayStation Plus at this year's E3. And Microsoft announced that the Xbox Live price point was going up. Now, PlayStation Plus, to me, when Sony was announcing that at E3, I was thinking that, the PlayStation 3 was finally going to get cross-game chat and or some kind of party system to launch games in. Now, on a quick side note, I know a lot of you guys are looking forward to cross-game chat. It's a feature that I'm looking forward to as well. But if it was up to me personally, I would prefer for Sony to come with some kind of party system first before cross-game chat. Once again, that's me personally. And what I mean by that is having it from the XMB, you're able to jump into a party, and then that whole party be able to jump into a game together. I think that would be more significant right now than cross-game chat. Once again, that's my own personal opinion. And the reason I think so is take a game like Call of Duty. Now, instead of having to wait for the game to launch and everybody jump in the same room, if you could start off in a party already and then jump on Call of Duty, everybody's already there. Same thing for other games like Warhawk, which people are still playing heavy because I jumped into that the other day, and other multiplayer games. But that's just my opinion. Now, side note done. When Sony announced the PlayStation Plus, I was honestly thinking that it was going to be more than what it is. It is a nice feature for what it is. If you're a PlayStation Plus member, you get in 2 betas, so they say. And I'll just leave it at that. You get in the betas. One of the big features I like is that you get things either at a discounted price or for free, which I'm all about free 99. You get cheaper themes, free themes, you get hour demos. But I was thinking it was going to be more of like some service. And then, not only do I feel the PlayStation Plus is very limited, it is at its beginning stages, but I feel it's very limited. And then they try to charge you the same amount that they charge you for Xbox Live. Now we'll finish there, and we'll continue the rest of the next video. Peace.